But when she got diagnosed, the doctors gave her a year to live. And I was like, hey, I've been eating whole food plant based. There's been a lot of studies backing this up. And like I said, the doctor gave her a year. She lived 4.5 years with a really good quality of life. And so that really sealed it for me. I was like, if it's able to extend the quality of life for someone after they're already sick, imagine what it can do for someone that's not sick yet and how much it can prevent.
Well, welcome everybody here to the Climate Diet Podcast. And today we are joined by a very special guest, Maxime, who is going to tell us all about his new book, which I cannot wait to read, and just tell us about his background and how he got to where he is and his impact and his philanthropy. Obviously, it coincides with ours. And we're just really excited to hear your backstory and learn a lot more about this new book because I'm really excited about that. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your background.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me on. Very excited to be here and grateful that I get to share my message with your audience. My background, in a nutshell, I grew up the opposite of what I am today. I grew up a farmer. We had 140 acres of lands. We had like 100 cows, horses, geese, chickens, rabbits. So we grew up properly on a farm. I was the opposite of a vegan and a plant-based eater because we had our own animal to fuel ourselves back then. And in transition, maybe a decade later, I got introduced to a modeling agent when I was 240 pounds and a big bodybuilder. And she said, I see something under those big chubby cheeks. I think there's a jawline in there. She's like, try losing some weight. We'll do a photo shoot and we'll see what we can do. So that's when I went on Google. I was like, how do I get the skinniest, the fastest? And then vegan showed up. I said, vegans are skinny and weak. I was like, well, I don't like the idea of being weak. I just need to get skinny real fast. So now we know that you can be strong and athletic, being vegan and eating plant-based. But I didn't know any better back then. I was like, okay, I'll sacrifice the strength so that I can get really skinny. I lost 80 pounds in a year. And a
Wow.
lot of it was muscle, but on purpose. So I stopped strength training. I severely underate. And obviously went vegan. So I was eating a lot cleaner than I was previously. Lost 80 pounds, but it's great. I was able to model in Toronto, in New York, in Milan, in Italy. And it kind of started a whole career for me for a few years. And then got out of that toxic industry. And then I was like, you know what? Like, do I go back to eating the way that I was? I feel so good. So I just kind of kept going with it. And then fast forward several years later. So maybe when I was, oh, yeah, gosh, I want to say a decade ago, like over 11 years ago, was it a decade ago? It was a decade ago. Yeah, I met my late partner. She got diagnosed with breast cancer within 3 months of us dating. And I decided to stick by her side and be her caregiver for the next, 4.5 years before she passed away, unfortunately. But when she got diagnosed, the doctors gave her a year to live. And I was like, hey, I've been eating whole food plant based. There's been a lot of studies backing this up. And like I said, the doctor gave her a year. She lived 4.5 years with a really good quality of life. And so that really sealed it for me. I was like, if it's able to extend the quality of life for someone after they're already sick, imagine what it can do for someone that's not sick yet and how much it can prevent. And that's kind of what set me on the path that I'm on today. That's my story in a nutshell.
I'm so sorry about the loss, though. I'm really sorry for that. That had to be
Thank you.
tough. Um,
Hardest thing I ever had
we're
to go through in my life. Yeah.
I'm sure being so close to somebody, but I guess thankful and that there's a silver lining that prompted you to move into this path and share your message and to educate more people because that's what we really need. We need your voice. We need your to hear the story about what happened to your partner and to understand that you did give her a gift, a better, longer life to be experience a healthier few years. And people need to hear that. That is such a good message. Tell me when we were rewind a little bit to your background. Sorry, you said you grew up um, on a farm. Where were you?
I was in Quebec, Canada, so east
Okay.
side of Canada, and it's a town called Bristol. So it's maybe like an hour and a half from Ottawa, which is kind of what most people would know. But yeah, like east side of Canada, in the middle of the woods.
And now you're in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I'm living in California. It's I see all the like winter storms that's happening right now. It's like it's nice outside. I'm wearing shorts and I can go for a walk. It's great.
Okay, great. Um, can we transition and talk a little bit about how you became an author?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I got the book here. We just launched like a few days ago, and we already hit number one bestseller, which was one of my goals on the first day, which is fantastic. Um, so the book, how it came about, I'll set the context a little bit for it. So when my late partner passed away, I created a mission for myself. She was older than me. She was 12 years older than me. So I was 27 when I was 27 when she passed away. She was 39 when she passed away. So I set a mission that I wanted to impact the life of 10,000 people in her honor by the time I was her age. And that falls on 2033. So the mission I created was to help 10,000 people get lean, thrive, and reduce their risk of dealing with chronic illness by 2033, and then a million by 2050. Because I felt like I could hit the 10,000, and I was like, now I want to help more people. So let me just set like another crazy deadline. Um, and we've been started this journey just almost 6 years now, and we've helped around 1,200 people one on one through our coaching program. But I can see the trend, right? Like that we wouldn't be able to kind of hit our targets of how many life we wanted impacted. And obviously, I set the own guidelines for myself of like what counts as a life impacted. It wasn't a subscriber on YouTube or a follower on Instagram. It was someone that we work with directly one on one, but I knew that that would be hard to like again hit that amount of people in that amount of years. So I was like, all right, how can I grab all the information what we provide to our members and all the patterns and tricks and strategies that we've noticed through 6 years of coaching? And I was like, let me just put them in a book. That way I can feel confident that every book sold can count as a life transform, because literally like all the tools are in there. So that's how I wrote the book, so that it has all the recipes and guidelines, the equations and steps and processes for people to be healthier. So that's what spiked the interest in writing the book in the first place, because I was like, yeah, that 10,000 by 2033 and a million by 2050 is a lot. And I'm going to need help besides just coaching people one on one.
I love that. I love that you put a number to it. It's inspiring to have a lofty goal and to put it out there. And I think your book sounds like and I can't wait to read it. Robert Sheik is one of my dear friends, and
Yeah.
yes, I love Robert. He's such an inspiration to, especially to the vegan community.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
he's great, isn't he?
He's the original founder of like this whole vegan fitness movement, right? Like he pioneered this space for all of us.
Yeah, we need more Robert Sheets. We really do.
Yeah.
It sounds like your book is sort of like a toolkit for people to take a step in the direction of taking control of their health, and you're giving them step by step instructions, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Like literally the book is meant to be a replacement for our coaching program. Like I would say, maybe it's bad for business, but it's good for karma, right? Like if I can get people all the tools and strategy to be able to transform on their own, like to me, if you are someone that is self-motivated and can be self-accountable, like just you don't even have to work with us. Just get the book. Everything's in there. But then if you're someone that like wants to someone checking on you every single week and have all those adjustments, then like a coaching program is great. But for a lot of people, like if they just follow the equations and the step by step, it'll take care of the whole transformation, and they'll be able to revert back whenever life does throw them curveballs and they do get out of shape, because it's part of life.
Yeah, I think, and you would probably agree with me too. Some people do great with having all the information in their hands, right? The step by step guide, being able to refer to recipes, workouts, consistency where they know that Monday, Wednesday, and Friday they're lifting, Tuesday, Thursday,
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday they're engaging in some kind of cardio and talking about importance of sleep and nutrition, all those things. You can have all of that, right? Like in your hands from your book, but sometimes we really need that accountability partner that coach, right? Just to acknowledge that we're doing the right things and that it's just having that accountability on a daily basis that for some people they really do need that. So I think you have I think it's such an advantage to have for you and for others to have the book and then be able to also have your coaching program to also help them. Because some people probably work better visually. Some people are great at reading and just doing it, right? So it's like you sort of hitting it at both sides.
Yeah, and it depends where people are at on their journey. Like if someone is already active, but they want to transition to eating plant-based and they don't know how to, then that would be a lack of knowledge. They're already kind of self-motivated on that front. But I feel like a lot of people that we work with inside of the program, a very small percentage of them are the ones lacking the knowledge. A lot of them are the ones that don't have that haven't built that identity yet, that there's like that they are this fit and healthy person that exercises and make healthy decisions with food, and people that tend to self-sabotage. So I feel like as coaches, the main thing that we do is we help reinforce a new identity for the person, but a big part of it is talking people off the ledge, which is like, oh my god, I ate all of this and I wasn't supposed to. It's like, you'll be fine, it's okay, don't like starve yourself for the next 2 days, like don't over exercise, just get back on track with where you were. So that's a lot of what coaching is, talking people off the ledge and just being like, hey, just get back on track a little bit.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm also a health coach and I was working with a client this morning and she said, I don't understand why when I talk to my friends about going to we frequent this organic vegan lunch spot and she goes and picks up her meals from there for the week. And we know it's 100% organic, it's plant-based, it's high in protein, it's got a very good balance of fiber and all the things that you and I know so well, but it's not an automatic understandable
Yeah.
thing to everybody. So she said, "Yeah, I don't understand why more people don't go." She goes, "I think it's because it's a vegan restaurant and people don't always know what that is, right? Like to us, it's I mean, I've been vegan for 25 years or more. So I never think like that. I can look at a menu, probably like you, and go, okay, I can put this together. But for someone
Yeah.
to walk off the street to go into a vegan restaurant probably feels very audacious, right? Like, oh my gosh, what am I going to order? Am I going to know what the foods are? And it's for us, it's so simple, right? Like it's eating a whole plant-based diet is there's a million of options. I never feel like I have to think about, oh my God, what am I going to eat? But I think that stigma of like, oh, vegans only eat cardboard and tofu and fake meat, I think, and I think it's changing, right? Do you agree? Like, I think the stigma is changing, but I think that we still have a long way to go, right?
Yeah, I think it's definitely, I think it's shifting a little bit for sure. And because a lot of those companies, which got Beyond Burger as an example, they came out with their first version, but now they came out with a new version that only has 4 ingredients, right? So a lot of those companies are also trying to clean up their ingredient list because they understand that that's what more people want. So I think there's like a shift of where the money is going and where the attention is going from a corporation standpoint, which is fantastic. It's bringing out cleaner products to people. But yeah, I think it's I was talking about this with I think with Rip on a podcast. There's a cultural conditioning to eating meat, to eating the way that most people eat, and then looking at a vegan restaurant or a vegan dish, it feels so counter-cultural to how they grew up. And it was like, it's so weird, it's so odd. What are people going to think of me if I eat this meal, right? Who does that make me if I eat this vegan food? How about a healthy person? But they're not there yet to see that point. But no, I agree with you. There's a slow shift moving towards some of those cleaner products and more people being open to eating plant-based, which is great.
Yeah, I know. And her point was like, and she's not vegan, but she said, um, I eat there because it's good. I
Yeah.
eat there because it's delicious. And it's like, she's like, I don't understand why so what if it's vegan? And I think that's like a big sort of stopping point for some people. They're just like, oh, it's not going to be good. But it's like they haven't even tried it yet. Right? So
Yeah,
it's
it's
definitely,
because I have a lot of friends that aren't vegan because obviously I've been vegan for over 11 years now, but a lot of my friends from childhood are not vegan. And I've had some honest conversations with them. And for some of them, it's just they feel that if they admit to themselves that it is healthier or does taste better, it's kind of like they've been lied to their whole life and how they were raised to eat. And it's such a hard, I say, like value or belief system that they've built into themselves of like, no, this is how you eat. I can't have been wrong my whole life. I was like, yeah, potentially something to entertain that maybe you have. But for a lot of people, I feel like there's like that weight of like, you're telling me I've been wrong my whole life. You're crazy. I can't have been wrong my whole life. Everyone else in the world can have been wrong their whole life. It's like, yeah, a lot of people are, and it's okay to change, but it's hard to let go of that, especially if it's your first introduction to it, right? I always tell people, you either, when we talk about this, you're either planting the seed or watering the seed. We don't know if we're the one that's going to make it germinate and become to a beautiful flower. So we're either planting it for someone, watering it, and then at one point it's going to click. But we just have to keep being patient and watering it for those people.
Yeah, got to keep being the voice. That's how I feel. And it's really hard in today's world when you have a government pushing full fat and full fat dairy and red meat. And I don't want to get political here by any means, but it's like it's so antiquated. It's like it's laughable sometimes. I'm like, wow. Hopefully nobody follows the food pyramid in some way.
Yeah. People got to use their head, follow the money. There's a lot of money in
Yeah,
those industries. So it's like anything else. If you can give someone like $1 billion to say that your food group is the best, there's probably more money than that. Then like they're gonna take the money to put it at the top of the food group, right? Because
exactly.
money talks in those worlds. So people have to be conscious that there's for sure money involved. It's not out of the good of their heart and what's best for the people.
Do you feel like your when you coach and you talk to people and you get them to read your book, although I know you just launched it, do you feel like there's an aspect to people being more accountable, not just to themselves, but like to this planet, right? Like that there's a climate part to that. Because I think we know so much about how important this lifestyle is to our health and our longevity. Um,
Yeah.
but that climate aspect is something that I have a hard time making people understand. They're thinking solely about themselves. But I'm like, you have children. What about them as they grow up and then their children? Like, we're destroying this planet. So, do you address that in the book at all, or do you talk about that in your coaching?
Um, a little bit, not too much, to be honest with you, because I try to stay in my lane of like what my mission is based off of. And to me, is that I know that it will be a side benefit of helping more people eat plant-based. So because I'm trying to help people not get cancer, and I know eating plant-based, whole food plant-based is the best way for that. And if I get people to eat whole food plant-based, less animals are going to die, so less animal cruelty, plus the environment is going to benefit from it. So I would say a lot of our clients, I would say, do care, but a lot of their primary reason is health, simply because of like my story and kind of how everything started. So I'm kind of attracting people that are more health conscious first, and then those tend to be like a second or third value after it. But yeah, it's important. But hey, as long as you get someone to eat plant based, there's like all the extra perks of animals not dying, the environment benefiting, your health becoming better, and society becoming better. So to me, like whatever way people come in, as soon as you come in from one, it becomes about all the other things. So it never stays for just one thing specifically.
Yeah. What is the number one thing that the feedback you get from your clients? Like, what's the first thing that they notice?
Oh, the first thing they notice is how much food they have to eat to lose weight. That's probably the number one thing. Because it's whole food plant based, it's high in volume, it's high in fiber. They feel so full. And I would say that's the one thing we know is number one complaint, I think. It's a funny complaint, but it's like, I can't eat all the food. I'm like, fantastic. You're here to lose 40 pounds. You're telling me you're too full. I'm like, where else are you gonna hear that? I was like, that's a great problem. So I would say that's obviously like a funny one, but that's a genuine one that we do get with people. It's like, hey, just do your best. Like if needed, let's introduce more calorie dense foods like avocados and nuts and seeds. You can kind of get all the energy in that you need for the training you're doing. And the second one is just like a big strength shift for a lot of people, because either they haven't been working out for a long time and or they've never worked out before. Like our clients are like 50 all the way up to 87. That's kind of usually who we work with. So a lot of them were never introduced to strength training. Some of them are really familiar with cardiovascular exercise, like running and cycling and some of those things. But strength training is a whole new world for a lot of them. So now they're like, oh my God, I can like carry out my grocery bags. Or one client's like, I can lift my 50-pound dog and put it in the back of the truck. It's like I could never do that before. So there's definitely like that initial like big gain of strength that you get when you start lifting that are like, this is great. I love this feeling. I want more of this.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Wow. So 50 to 87, that's a pretty substantial age range.
Yeah, well, I just interviewed. So Pam is the one that turned 87. I just did a podcast with her. Super vibrant, awesome lady, and still independent, still lives on her own, exercises at her house at that age, which is pretty cool. She has a story where she was on a plane and she had to put her luggage like an overhead bin. And when she got there, I think a guy was trying to be nice. He's like, "Hey, do you need help? Like, I can lift it for you." She's like, "No, I got this." And then she lifted her own bag and putting it on top, which sounds like a simple thing, but like at 87, that's pretty darn impressive. Not a lot of them are in a condition to be able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. What's your, do you have one, besides Pam, do you have like any other really impactful clients that you've worked with that sort of, that you can brag about?
Oh, but there's a lot. Gary and Linda, a couple in their 60s, they got super in shape. They've been with us for a year and a half. Um, they're stronger than 20 years ago when they were doing CrossFit. So when they were in their 40s, they're stronger now in their 60s. One story that's really close to my heart, obviously, is my mom. She started with us like when I first started the company. She's lost 50 pounds and has kept it off for almost over 5 years now, which is something that's unheard of for a lot of people because you lose the weight, you put it back on. But there's
Yep.
methodologies to be able to like keep the weight off after. So it's cool knowing that I got to impact my mom directly with eating whole food, plant based, and exercise, and putting her in a healthier position. There's Judy. She's like, I think she's turning 72 now, but she can almost do 40 push-ups in a row, like full push-ups, not on her knees, full push-ups in her early
Wow.
70s. It's crazy. She has good arm genetic. They're crazy arms. We have Anne Marie. I think the max she could do, she is, I think, early 60s. I think it was 4 or 5 pull-ups in a row she could do.
Wow.
But I'm talking like military strict, all the way down, dead hang, no momentum, chin above the bar. A lot of people can't do that in their 20s and their 30s. So yeah, we have a lot of cool members.
You must get such a good like feedback feel from all of that.
Yeah, it's really fun. And we do like in-person workshops once a year. So they like everyone kind of flies in and we meet up for like a weekend and we work out and eat good food. And so it's nice to, get to have a relationship with them and get to connect with them. And we do several conferences a year. So we get to see them at conferences too. I had one last year where I spoke at NHA and a bunch of them flew in for my first talk, and it was super cool to have their support there. So it's a nice community. It's really fun.
I love that. Very impactful. Do you want to talk a little bit more about the book? Like maybe some of the pillars of the book?
Yeah, for sure. So, in our transformation program, there's 5 phases that we bring people through. So all of them are outlined in the book, and there's like a step by step and all the equations how to get through all of them. But basically, phase one is body recomposition, and simply what that means is increasing the amount of muscle you have on your body and decreasing the amount of fat that you have on your body. Because, sorry, we know that the more fat we have on our body, the higher risk of dealing with some of those chronic illnesses can take place. Obviously, there's a healthy level of body fat that you want to have, and some people want to go too low, which could have its consequences too. But I'm talking like a healthy level of body fat. And then building muscle, we know that as we age, there's sarcopenia, so the natural decrease in lean muscle tissue. So we want to be able to not only negate that, but be able to go into the positive and put on some muscle so people can keep their independence longer and be able to enjoy those later years of their life versus being stuck in a wheelchair or just hurting themselves in a much easier way than if they didn't have the muscle. So that's phase one, body recomposition. Phase two is reverse dieting. So we help people increase their metabolism post transformation to help them keep the weight off and help them eat more food to keep the weight off. And then phase three is going to be a lean muscle building phase. So we go into a pure lean muscle building phase because a lot of our members are a little bit older. And like I mentioned, it's important to have more lean muscle on their body. I'm not talking like looking like Arnold, but you do need to have a good amount of muscle as you get older. Phase four is a maintenance phase, so where we transition more towards like an intuitive style of eating, so people can learn how to maintain this lifestyle without having to necessarily follow a meal plan or track their food or anything like that. We just don't do intuitive eating at the beginning because a lot of people's signals are off, right? They're used to eating food that's not good for them. Their sleep habit is all over the place. So obviously they have more cravings. And if they listen to the craving, they'll think that intuitively that's what their body's telling them. It's not telling you to eat a chocolate croissant at 7 in the morning with a coffee. And then phase five is our athletic phase, where we invite members to pick something that they didn't think they could do at the beginning of working with us. So it could be doing a triathlon, right? Dr. Dan did that. It could be running a 10K. It could be doing a 20-mile hike with your kids and grandkids. It could be cycling across 2 states. Gene, one of our members, doing that. So then we train them for that event, so that they can do the thing that they didn't think they could do before. And as you know, from having, trained and competed in some of those things, it unlocks something in your brain of like, whoa, I am that person that does these things now. And it just drastically reinforces your identity. And now you shift out of like, oh my God, I struggle with the same 20 pounds for decades, to like, I'm a machine. What else can I do? What other fun thing can I challenge myself with? And to me, that's a really fun life once you get to that point.
I love that. It sounds like a very well-rounded a book that can give people like a clear-cut path. And then I love the end. I love that there is this space for to be challenged, right? Because everybody thinks as we age we should slow down, and it's the opposite is true. As you know, we should be challenging ourselves all the time. Not only is it good for
Yeah.
metabolism, it's great for longevity. I mean, all the latest studies that are coming out, as you know, are about getting your heart rate up to a little bit more than you're used to and pushing yourself for a short amount of time, but really pushing yourself. And I think it's just a stigma of people getting older are supposed to somehow slow down. And I love that that's changing. And I love that you put that in the book. Like, what do you want to do that maybe like the triathlon or a 10K or a hike, something that they maybe put in their mind and then they put it out of their mind because they're 70 years old. Why would they be able to do that? So it's great that you push and challenge somebody to go out of their comfort zone.
Yeah. Like, life is meant to be lived. And if you're still living and breathing, you should still be able to enjoy it. And there's one thing I talk about in the book, but being fit, a lot of people ask like what being fit means and what it looks like. And it means something completely different to everyone. To me, being fit in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s is having a body that isn't a limitation to you living your best life. So whatever that looks like at 70 for you. Some people are cuckoo like me. They're like, I want to run a marathon. And some people are like, I just want to do a 10-mile hike with my grandkids. Both of them are fit in their own way for what their best life means to them. And they don't have a body that is limiting them from being able to do those activities. And so, yeah, just people get to pick. Like, you get to define how you want to live your life, and just make sure your health and your body is not a limitation to being able to do that.
Yeah. I mean, challenging ourselves to just dip our toe into something that maybe we didn't think we could do. Also, I think there's a big mental component to that too. Like
Yeah.
building your confidence to even think about it, right? Like to do a race or whatever. Or maybe it's just to walk down the street without a walker, or walk up and down your stairs, just carrying some laundry. I mean, I think being fit means so many different things to so many different people, but we have to push ourselves to do that because it's not gonna get easier. You have to work at it. But it's such a rewarding, a rewarding feeling of being fit. I mean, to me, it's like I challenge myself every day. There's something,
Yeah.
even if it's like, and you probably know this too, just from your background, it's like some days workouts don't feel like the top of your list and want to get through it in a short amount of time. And I think it's a, a problem that where people are like, oh, I don't have time to do 45 minutes, so I'm not going to do it. And I try to explain to people, as I'm sure you are too, it's like 5 minutes is always going to be better than zero. You're always on the positive side. Do something, go outside and do 30 jumping jacks, right? Do something,
Yeah.
move your body on a daily basis. Make it like you're brushing your teeth. It's something every day.
Yeah, I thought about consistency compounds. So, if you don't like, then if you just have 5 minutes and you don't even take it, that's like trying to add $0 to your investments. You can add $0 all day, every day. It's not going to compound to anything. But if some days you put $1, some days you put a quarter, some days you put a penny, a penny over time does compound. But if you put $0, then yeah, it's just everything is going to stay the same. So yeah, doing the best that you can, even if you have like one healthy meal in a day and that's all you can get yourself to do, that's better than not eating that healthy meal. If you go for a walk versus not going for the walk, like it doesn't feel like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, it's going to add up to something big with all the other days that you're going to show up. It's just I think humans are so focused on, there's a fear of failing. I think there's a need to, if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it perfectly, which I don't know what that means. Um, like it needs to be sunny outside. I've slept 10 hours. Like my body's feeling good. Then I'm gonna work out. I've been working out sore for like 20 years. You're just constantly sore. Like eventually you just learn to train through it. Um, but yeah, there's definitely a learning curve. Once you've become fit and you've experienced it, you're hooked. Like it's a done deal. But we need to get people to that point where they feel that muscle connection, where they feel that strength. They're like, ooh, this is really fun. I want more of this. But people never stick with it long enough to get to like that pivotal point.
Yeah. As one of my clients says, she goes, it's just so much easier to be fat. And I was like, yeah, I get it, right? But
It's painful.
along with being fat comes a lot of other things that are
Yeah.
detrimental to your health, right? Yes, working out is can be looked at in I guess as work, right? Working out, but there's so much reward to it, like the endorphins and all. I mean, my whole life's been dedicated to it, and for years, for a good chunk of it. So you know
Yeah, more than half my
how it
life.
feels.
Yeah, like I am like I'm 32 now, and I've been exercising consistently since I'm like 8 years old with sports. So I've been training for more than half my life, and then I've been training seriously since I'm 18. So at least 14 years of hard strength training sessions. So that's all I know. I used to be 240 at one point. I was a little big boy at 240. It wasn't that comfortable. My butt was so big, I turned around and hit stuff that I didn't even know I could hit from being like that close to that far to something. That was to me that was so uncomfortable, and that was way harder than like being lean and being fit. So you gotta pick your hard and what comes with those things.
It sounds like you're really inspiring a lot, though. It's awesome for you to put this book out and give people the tools. I love that. I'm sure that your clientele is so proud of what you're putting out too, right? Because they hear it on a different level, but to see it in print is amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we've definitely gotten a lot of support from our members. We've far exceeded the amount of pre-orders we want to do with the book, to a point that I ordered too much and Amazon canceled some of my order because Amazon's like doing the printing for us. They canceled more than half my order. They're like, we can't give you this many books. We don't have enough. I was like, what do you mean? You're Amazon. How do you run out of
Here,
book to print
Amazon.
on? But everything is solved now. But I was pretty upset that one morning. I was like, you canceled half my order. I got to email those people now to let them know that you guys ran out of books to print on. But we problem solve. It's all good. But no, very, very grateful for our members. Honestly, it's such a beautiful community. I'm so happy that we shifted who we work with. Because when I started 6 years ago, I very much worked with people that looked like me. So they were like, yeah, six pack, shirtless on the beach. And because that's what I was posting back then. But once I started more about the health and the mission, then our audience started to become a little bit older and older and older. And yeah, 50 to 87 is like perfect. Like all my friends before I started all of this are in their 60s and their 70s. Like a lot of my friends are in their 60s and their 70s. Like that's why I have calls with every month to like catch up and grab coffee with them. So this is yeah, beautiful. I feel so lucky to do what I do.
I love that. I know, I feel the same way every day. It's like you're impacting someone's life, their longevity, their confidence, their health, the less on medication. I mean, that to me is pretty rewarding than any other profession I can think of, right?
Yeah, yeah, it is. And I'll be honest with you, like I had to sacrifice a bit of that because I no longer coach people one-on-one now. As of January 1st. My last client finished on January 1st because I had a decision to make. If I continue coaching people one-on-one, we'd be very limited as to how many people we could work with at this point. And I was like, cool, I got to go beyond myself. Like I don't have to work with everyone one-on-one to be able to have the impact that we have. And that's why I step back so I can do basically grow and be able to bring in more coaches that are aligned with our philosophy and train them the way we want to so we can coach and serve more people. But that was a hard decision to do, and I held off on it for like 2 years because I was like, no, like I like the one-on-one. And um, my guilty pleasure is doing the workshops because I get to work with people one-on-one for like a week or a weekend. But I had to make that decision so that we can just serve more people. And that's how the book came about too. I wouldn't have been able to like do this if it wasn't for that.
Yeah. So was the writing the book just someone put the idea in your ear, or did you always want to write the book once you started coaching, or how did that little bit that piece how did that come to play?
Yeah. I always loved reading. So when I was a kid, I was like, one day I want to have a book. And I read like fantasy books and stuff like that, like French books when I was in Canada. So I didn't know what the book would be about, but I've said like I'd love to have a book someday. It would be so cool to have like my name on it. Um, but no, it was just me reflecting in December of 2024. Big, all right, cool. We're at this amount of people impacted. We're going X amount of percentage per year. We'll fall just short of our 10,000 by 2033. So it's like there has to be another way to do this. So we're working on other methodologies to be able to serve more people. But the one that was kind of like the easiest was writing a book amongst all the other things that we have on our pipeline. So I was like, cool. With the book, we can count every copy sold as a life impacted, and then who knows the ripple effect of that once the book gets out. But we'll be able to count that, and it'll be easier to kind of hit our target. So like you said earlier, setting a big goal, it kind of forces you to think outside the box versus the traditional path. And that's what it's kind of forced me to do. And the book was one of the steps towards, the 10,000 people and the million people by 2050.
I love that. How do I get my autographed copy?
I can organize that for you. Um, I'll have to do it when I come back from Asia though, because I'm leaving in 3 days and I'm going to Asia for 3 months. So we have
Wow.
like a beautiful trip. Like I'm Canadian, but I just got my green card in the U.S. and I've been stuck in here for 3 years waiting for it. So now I can actually leave. So I'm ready for some international trips. I'm ready to go out and explore the world a little bit. But when I come back, I'll send you a signed copy just because that's the only one I got right now. But for now, for like I think for most people, just Amazon. Amazon is taking care of all the fulfillment for us. So it just makes it so much easier. We did have a pre-order, but it was very chaotic to sign and ship that many books. It took me 4.5 hours to sign 100.
Oh my gosh.
Straight 4.5 hours.
Wow.
So yeah, that was a long time because I wrote a message for everyone because I knew a lot of
Of
the
course.
people. So a lot of them were clients or past clients. But yeah, 4.5 hours for 100 books. I was like, oh my God. I was like, yeah, it took me a few days to kind of get through everyone. But yeah, for you, I'll send you one when I come back from Asia.
When do you get back?
May 1st. And in the first week of every month, I'm on digital detox for 7 days. So I don't work, I don't touch digital things. So
I
second
read
week of
that.
May, I'll have books and then I'll be able to sign them.
Okay. I know that some of the copies that are going out are going to get some of our bites with them. Robert Cheek
Yeah,
is,
with Robert.
uh, yes. Have you had the bites yet?
I did. They were really good. I really enjoyed them. I think it was at our when I lived at my last apartment. That's when I had them. Yeah, they were delicious.
Awesome. I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
And thank you
some
for
of the bun, of
contributing to the boxes.
course, anything to help the people to understand that eating whole food plant-based is not tastes like cardboard. I mean, back 25 years ago when I first started to go vegan, I lived in Los Angeles too. A lot of the food back then, the cheese and some of the, yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
But it was just you just have to think outside the box and try different things. Now, I mean, there's 81 different kinds of plant-based cheese on the market. Like,
Oh wow,
there's
I
going
didn't
to
know
be
that.
something you like. Yeah, 81. It's a
That's
lot of
crazy.
cheese.
What was it like? Gosh, maybe like maybe 9 years ago when I was living in Vancouver. Like diet cheese was kind of like one of the big ones because their factory was in Vancouver when I was living. Oh my God, it was just when you put like when you made a vegan pizza, it was just like curled up rubber, right? Like it wasn't even melting. It just was hardened and started to curl up a little bit, and it was just like hard rubber on your pizza. They've come a long way for sure.
Yeah, they really have. What's your favorite vegan cheat meal? Not cheat, but your guilty pleasure.
Vegan sushi for sure. There's a spot here in Agora Hills called Mac and Sushi, and they do these crazy sushi pieces, and they're so good. Anyone that comes to town that we meet up with, we go there to eat every single time. Yeah, one of our go-tos. We're going tomorrow one last time before we leave for Asia because it's so darn good. We spend a lot of our date nights, my wife and I, at that restaurant, for sure. Mac and Sushi in Agora Hills. If anyone wants to check it out, it's the best vegan sushi I've ever had.
Yeah, California has a lot of great vegan sushi restaurants.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be honest. I've tried a lot of them. That one is like, and I saw my friend Nimai Delgado. He'll eat there
Hmm.
too. Darren O'Lean saw him there
Hmm.
too. Red Foo, he is there too. Travis Barker is there too. Saw all of them
Oh
there.
wow,
It's like, yeah, it's a busy spot for all the like big vegan names.
that's awesome. I'll have to check out next time I'm in California.
Yeah, yeah. It's really good.
Well, awesome. So if anybody wants to get the book today, they would just go to Amazon. And you want to hold it up for me one more time so that
Yeah,
we
for sure.
everybody can
So
see it.
yeah,
Forever
so
Fit. What a
people
great
can.
name too.
Thank you. Yeah, people can just go to foreverfitbook.com, but even if they click on the button, it'll just guide them to Amazon. It's Amazon US just because the majority of my people live here, but it works in Canada or any other country. So you just have to go to your country and type Forever Fit. And then if we did our job well, we should be at the top of the list. And then you can order your copy from there.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited for your sabbatical for 3 months. That's amazing.
Thank you. Well, it'll be business because my wife and I are starting a skincare venture at the end of this year, a vegan skincare venture. So one of the reasons we're going to like Singapore and Korea, and there's a lot of like vegan food people over there that we might try to do cooking videos with for our YouTube channel. So
Fun.
fun in business, just finding a way to expense the whole trip.
There you go. Always. Every day I do that. I'm ready
Yeah,
for
yeah.
an afternoon coffee. I'm like, oh, I'll stop by this store, this coffee shop because I know they sell my bites. That's a write-off.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm just checking on the merchandise.
Exactly, exactly. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today and telling us about your book. So excited for to hear about what's on the horizon for you. And I'd love to have you back, maybe when you get back from your trip. Maybe you'll have more to share with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it, and I hope people got value out of it. And well, I'll leave with this. I always tell people everything that I ever share in any podcast, none of it is valuable, and none of it is going to change your life unless you do something with the information. If not, it's just
Exactly.
cool stuff that you can tell your friends, but it's not going to help you get fitter and healthier. So take one thing, implement it, and then reap the benefits from it.
And be consistent.
Yes, because it compounds just like money,
Yes,
right? You got to add something for it to compound.
I know. I think everybody's just looking for the quick fix. Let me take the Ozempic or the GLP-1 shot or whatever it is so that I can lose the weight so then I'll be healthier. But what's happening to you in 10 years from now? If you're not
Yeah.
diabetic, they're just looking for the quick fix. And it's a shame that that's what it's come to. And I'm sure that it's a great tool for some, but I think people are just, they don't want to take accountability for themselves, their actions, what they're putting in their mouth and what they're doing with their body. And I think we need to flip that switch.
Yeah. There's always going to be people like that, you know, and I think that's why there's always going to be a space for sustainable coaching. Like we get the people that are post Ozempic that are like, I didn't learn how to eat healthy. I lost all my muscle and I feel terrible. We get the people that did all the 30, 60, 90-day quick fix fat loss programs that are burnt out, put all the weight back on. Like if I didn't market anything, we'd still be busy because we're just getting everyone coming to us after these things to be like, I actually want to do it right now. So there's always going to be the people going for the quick fix, and everyone eventually just gets burnt out and like, cool, let me just learn how to eat properly, right? I probably should have done that a long time ago, but let me learn it now.
Exactly. It's to me, it is a lifestyle and it is something that you work on every day, but the benefits are just unbelievable. I tell people if I could just bottle how I feel on a daily basis and sell that, that I would be a zillionaire because
Oh,
living this,
100%.
yeah, living this lifestyle and, you know, taking my health really seriously, but I don't feel like I'm missing out on things because I feel so good. And I just wish people would sort of understand that. Yes, I eat healthy, but it's not like I'm eating healthy bad food. Like it's not, it doesn't taste bad. It's hard.
Yeah.
I think people are just accustomed to like, oh, you can't ever eat cheese. Well, I can. I just choose to eat plant-based cheese. It tastes to me exactly the same. And it's not very often, but if I really want a pizza, there's a plant-based pizza that I can have. You know, it's like not about restricting, it's about adding.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, everyone's on their own journey. Eventually, like I said, we're either watering a seed or planting it, and eventually people come around. Like I just hope they come around before they get sick, because once you get sick, it's a lot harder to get back to a neutral place than it is to be at a neutral place and then move to a preventative space. But yeah, people are hard-headed. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah. And people wait too long, right? They wait until their doctor's like, you're in trouble. And now you have to go on this medication, those medications have side effects. I mean, it's just, you know, so I'm glad that you put the book out to maybe give people, not to maybe, but to give people a blueprint and a structured way to take their health into their own hands and be forever fit.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you being here and spending some time with us and for all your information. And I can't wait to read the book.
Thank you.